I'm just going to draw the dominant negative shapes that I see. I'm seeing stems peeking through. So I'm just going to draw where they're going to go, just to give myself a little landmark. So in other words, I'm drawing where I see a value change. Okay, so permanent rose, diluted, and do I like that? I like that. And then a cool yellow, and that'll be perfect for the inside of the flower. I think sap green's going to be my go-to green for this piece. I'm sure there'll be some cobalt where I want to put shadow on the blossoms. This is the cobalt with the pink. That's very lavendery. So if I put a little yellow in with that, that would gray it down a bit. This is cerulean. Just going to see what the yellow and the cerulean do. It's kind of interesting. I might want to use that a little bit on the stems in the middle of the flower. I'm going to start with the yellow, getting out my bigger rigger and going into the yellow, and I'm just going to do some spattering with the yellow, and I'll be doing more of this later on. And then I'm going to put some little intentional dots in the middle of the flowers. I'm switching to a 10 with the yellow. This is my atomizer, and just spraying it around. We don't have to have all hard edges. And I'm even going to go on my bee, drop some yellow on him. In fact, I can drop it on all of him, because if I'm putting a dark over it, it's okay. I went outside the lines because I'll be adding darks. So I'm already enjoying myself, just in case you were worried. So when you start a painting, you ask yourself why you're painting this image. Besides the fact that I love the beautiful colors, it's a beautiful form, and it's just got this kind of joyous attitude. This is a happy flower. As I drop in this pink, it's blurring with the yellow. And I may even give it another spritz because I don't want things drying out too fast. In some places, I may just paint around some of the yellowy shapes. See how I'm using my brush, just kind of laying it on its side as I go. So I am leaving whites. I'm not going to cover this whole center with the pink and the yellow. There'll be some white here. And I can go back later and use a little of the blue-pink mix if I need some shadow color. Now here, I'm going to go right into this blossom because I'm right here and I'm working in an adjacent manner, going from one thing to another. Now here, I don't really have to stay in the line, so I don't have to be so careful because I'll be painting negatively. And I think I'll leave a little white on here just for a little sparkle. I think this calls for a little pink spatter as well. This is usually the sort of thing I do at the end, but this helps remind me not to be too perfect. So I'm trying to keep a little bit of white on these flowers just for sparkle because I'm going to have such a dark background. I don't want to not have any white at all. This is my synthetic brush, and it just has water on it. I'm not worrying about any of the shadow on the blossoms. This number 10 brush has paint on it, and I'm going to have this is number 8 brush, and this is going to have water on it. I think I'll start over here, just creating an edge. Now I'm going to paint around this leaf because I want this leaf here to have a hard light catching edge. Now I'm pressing down with my brush. So here, hard edge, soft edge. I think I'm going to switch to a bigger brush. Okay, so this is a brush that holds a lot of water. And so now I'm going into my sap green. I'm going to go down below. So use the tip to get into that hard to reach area. This is why you want to keep your brushes in good health, because you're going to need that tip. And now I just swished around with the brush, releasing water. So here again, I have a hard edge and a soft edge. I'm mixing the sap with a little cobalt just for variety, and I'm going to carve out the edge of this blossom with this dark color. I'm using the tip of this very big brush to define one of the little parts of the center here. So here I was so loosey-goosey starting out, and now with the negative painting I can be more precise and careful. Whenever you have a dark, think about another hue you can drop into that dark, because that makes it more interesting and suggests other things going on. So I just dropped some of my stronger pink in there. I want to go really dark here. I'm reaching for a little ultramarine blue. Now this might not be a good choice. And I'm just going to really set this off right there. All right, I'm going to start with some cerulean on this leaf over here. Just feel like doing something different. I'm keeping it light. And then while it's wet, I'll drop some other colors in. So just looking for little details on the edge. I'm just going to bring this off here because I don't want to create just an isolated leaf here. So I'm going outside the lines. And now I'll take a little of that sap and drop it in. And I'm going to drop a little pink in here. I don't want to surround it completely with the green or with the darks. You know what I might do is I'm going to think about, even though I don't see sky in this picture, I'm going to put some cerulean up here. So I'm going to spritz my paper just to facilitate the cerulean. Maybe I'll use a little cobalt turquoise light in there too, just to liven it up. Okay, so these are colors I don't see in the picture, but that's doesn't matter. You know, whenever you get a chance to do a little negative painting and show these little details, take it. And I'll let some dry spots, but I don't want them to be too hard edged, so I'm going to just give a little moisture aid there. Coming up on the bee, and I don't want the bee to be too hard edge because I want him to look like he could take off at any moment. I don't want him to look heavy. So I think I'll bring some of this blue into the black part of the bee to just kind of merge him with the background. Now I had mixed, I started with cerulean here, and then I put in the cobalt turquoise light. The cerulean really just kind of sits down, plops, and doesn't want to move, where the cobalt turquoise light is much more willing to move around with the water. Okay, so now I'm going to dilute this. You know, since I want this kind of feeling of explosion here, I just went like that, made some strokes. Whereas over here, I think I'll have it darker over here. So while this is nice and wet, I'm going to go in with mineral violet. Yeah, I think I like using the pink more than the mineral violet, so I'm mixing the mineral violet. The pink mixes so nicely with everything else. And all right, I'm going to go for the cobalt also. And I'm just going to cover this white leaf that I had, because now we still see an edge, but it's more subtle. So this is very dark. Okay, and I'm seeing those little filament type things, so I want to take advantage of this dark to capture that. I'm putting in this stem here. It has a lot of red in it. So it's the pink with the sap green.